All right. Good afternoon, everybody. How are we doing? Man, I see people just pouring in here. This is wonderful. Okay, obviously this is working, so I can go ahead and click off of that. We have got an amazing event planned for you guys over the course of the next 45 to 60 minutes, give or take. Hello, welcome. We seriously, guys, we've got really exciting next hour. First of all, Mark's just closed. I'm going to give everyone a couple of minutes to get here. So let me tell you what I have planned over the next 60 minutes. First of all, we're going to talk briefly about the markets today, kind of what's been happening over the past 2 days since the FOMC announcement, kind of what we have looking forward to. After that, I'm going to take a few questions, okay? Then I'm going to tell you about a brand new kind of idea that I had a few weeks ago that has just now finally taken actual form in the form of these mini courses. I talked about it in the Blue Sky Discord. I'm really excited about it. I want to put, the challenge has always been how do we put knowledge into the hands of traders at a reasonable cost that both, the traders don't feel like they're overpaying, but also that the education providers feel like they're compensated for their time, as we all do, right? So I'm going to tell you about that. I am officially releasing my first micro course in about 30 minutes. I'll tell you all about that. Also, then we have 2 giveaways. Okay, first of all, the gentlemen over at Blue Sky have been kind enough, specifically our good friend Josh. We got a great team over there. Obviously, you guys know Josh, Raj on support, Mike and the traders. There's other people as well that I haven't conversed with, but I'm sure they're awesome too. And they are giving away a free $50,000 evaluation account. So you buy that at full price. It's just shy of $200, guys. That's a hell of a value right there. And I'm really excited to do that and thank them for providing that. Then this micro course I just told you about, I'm going to give away one for free. And hopefully the individual who gets it will use it and tell everyone what he or she thinks. I'm really, really excited about that. So first of all, we got to give the question. While I'm getting everything ready to go here and pulling up all the charts, red or green today? You don't have to tell me how much red, how much green, whatever the case may be. Just give me a red or green. Also, for those that are new, quick introduction. My name is Matt Hensley. I'm the head of trading education at Atricius Trading. Oh yeah, Blue Sky for the win. Absolutely. There's no firm out there that provides the type of education that they do here. And again, as I said yesterday, they're one of the few whose goal is to put you in a live brokerage account eventually, right? You're in a live brokerage account making money. That's what everybody wants. You want that. Blue Sky wants that because they take a nice little 10% of that. You keep 90%. Seems like a hell of a deal. Old school prop firms, guys, the ones where they would hire you to go to desks, the split were 50-50. So, obviously the virtual prop firms are definitely, if you go green enough, you have gone blue. All right, we'll work with that. Stop throwing stuff in the chat to throw me off, Josh. So most of you guys have talked with Josh at one point or another. Really good dude, kind of the point man for a lot of the stuff over there at Blue Sky. Him and I have had a number of conversations. We can't seem to go about a week without having some sort of conversation about how do we best educate traders, right? He's got access to a lot of data that I've never seen or never heard about, and I have experience both in the retail world and on doing some of the education stuff in the conferences. We've had a lot of conversations about how do we get people where they want to go, right? And how do we get people from inexperienced traders to in a funded program and consistently withdrawing. So really looking forward to continuing. I'm working with them for about 8-9 months now. Loved every minute of it. It's a really honestly, I love the ability to try a lot of different things here, and they're very much of the mindset. Let's throw a bunch at the wall and see what sticks. I love working with small companies, guys, where you don't have to go through 10 different layers of approvals for things. But yeah, definitely well, you guys are here, so I'm preaching the choir. All right, let's talk about the last couple of days, guys. FOMC yesterday, 2 o'clock. Honestly, guys, 9 times out of 10, I usually do not trade after FOMC. I just shut it down for the day, but I hung in there. Some really good trading yesterday, and I was very optimistic. Getting clear of FOMC was really what we needed to get into some trending markets again. Not that we haven't had them, but at least for my type of style, I'm very much what I call an intraday swing trader, right? I'm technically a day trader. I don't carry positions over. I close everything by 4 o'clock Eastern. but I'm hanging in position sometimes for an hour or more. Right now, ideally, I get, like you guys, I get my profit in a few minutes, get out and move on to the next trade. But I tend to use, at least relative to people that are with my account size and my experience, I tend to use slightly smaller positions. Just let them run a little more. In futures, you got to let your trades breathe, guys. I'll be honest. I know a lot of you are scalpers out there, and I'll get some angry messages or emails. But for inexperienced traders, scalping is just so hard to do. And by scalping, I mean you're in the NQ, you're playing for less than 10 points, or in the ES, less than 5 points. And really, under 20 or under 10 in those respective is what I consider scalping. It's very hard to do. People that make, 50, 60, 70 trades a day typically vastly underperform the people making 2, 3, 4, 5 trades a day. So, so definitely looking forward to seeing what everyone can do as we go forward. So honestly, guys, if you're, because I talked to a lot of struggling traders, if you're struggling right now, cut your position size in half, cut your number of trades in half. Start there. Maybe that's the answer, maybe it's not, but I'd be willing to bet you're at least going to slow down your failing of your evals if you're somebody who's doing that. So, guys, I want to point one thing out on this chart. There is so much I could talk about in this chart, but I've got to get to the topics at hand today, and I always like to get to a little Q&A. This was a trade happened shortly after the open, and this is one of my bread and butter patterns. I just taught this to some of my mentorship clients last week, right? I trade very simple patterns, guys, very simple candlestick patterns. I have one trade that's based on a Renko chart, very simple patterns with market internal backup, looking at key areas on the chart. I'm a big VWAP trader. I'm always going to have VWAP on my candlestick charts. I don't care if it's a futures trade, stock trade, whatever the case may be. I'm always going to know where VWAP is and what's going on. Now, this is not particularly a VWAP trade. In fact, I'm going to very temporarily take VWAP off the chart. 15,000, any area in the NQ, 14,900, really every 50 points, but especially every 100 points is very, very, very key areas, right? And that's when you see when the markets are, or who's in control at that point. Are the institutions in control? Are the algos in control, right? And in this situation, 3 times we tried to break out above 1,500. So important to talk about what's going on here. First of all, let me get my drawing tools up, right? So these are what we call selling tails, selling wick, shadows, whatever you want to call them in the candlestick world. But we got 1, 2, 3. Right? So 3 times the price action tried to break above 15,000 in 5 minutes, at least 3 times. Obviously, these candles can go up and down before they close, right? But over these 5-minute periods, we tried to break out, and we were not able to do it. So on a very basic scale, what's happening here? All 3 times that we pushed up above 15,000, the sellers were there waiting. Okay, now people will try to think, okay, is it the institutions, is it the algos, the HFTs, all this? And in truth, guys, it really doesn't matter, right? 3 times the seller stepped in at this point and said, no. We want to sell short at this point, or we want to unload, some of our longs at this particular point. But regardless, selling going on these candles. And sure enough, guys, almost straight down after that. This is such a powerful pattern, especially in the indexes, right? Not 100%, no pattern is, and the indexes can be just as psychotic as some of the other asset classes, if not more so. But in this situation, guys, this is just a bread and butter pattern. You saw we had trouble with 15,000 all day. If you ever want to see what absolute chop looks like, and especially most likely, we can't definitively say, but most likely chop that is just absolutely predicated by the algos, what in the absolute holy crap was this? Right, 35 minutes. This is one of the guys. This is one of the strangest things I've seen in a long time on these charts. Right, this was a really, really weird. Again, just trapped right here, just under, imagine that, 15,000, right? If you're brand new to trading, guys, and you have no idea what's going on, you're just kind of trying to figure out as you go, figure maybe you get lucky, pass an eval or 2. First of all, if you're brand new, step back a little bit, paper trade a little bit, just watch the markets day to day. But one of the first, if you have no idea where to start on a technical basis, guys, one of the best places to start is just looking at these key numbers, right? Every 50 points in the ES, every 100 points in the NQ, right? Just look at days. And you can even look at them after the fact. Where does the price action hang up, right? Where does it keep coming back to? In a lot of cases, again, it's VWAP. I mean, and look what happens when I throw VWAP out on this chart. When you get an area like this with a key area, in this case 15,000, right above VWAP, this is such a, now I didn't get a short signal in here. None of my trades fired off, so it's not like I got short into this. I'm not telling you that. But at this point, I actually did get a long signal on one of these candles. It was either the third or the fourth one, and did not take the trade for the simple reason that, again, there's just so much to get through, right? If my goal here, let's say I had a 50-point goal, and I wanted to get in at 14,990 and get out up here at 1540. So I'm putting this up here, right about at the 1 standard deviation of the VWAP. One of the things I always ask myself in a trade, guys, and you should too, is how many key areas does my trade have to get through for me to be successful, right? And in this case, a very strong rejection off VWAP, 15,000, which has been a key resistance area all gosh darn day, and then up to the 1 standard deviation band. There's so much that this would have had to go through for a long trade. Whereas to get down here to 14,950 and down to the -1 standard deviation band off VWAP, it had to go through virtually nothing. So 9 times out of 10, guys, the markets are going to take the path of least resistance or least support in certain cases, right? Okay. Wow, we're 10 minutes in already, and I have to get to the materials. For those of you that have trickled in the last 10 minutes, welcome. We are about to get into our 3 mistakes that inexperienced chartists make, right? I mean, you can give this a number of titles, but that's basically what this is. Let me pull a couple of things out here, and let's get this up. First of all, you guys have seen a lot of these. You're going to see one more. Disclaimers are very important, guys. We put these up not just because legally we have to, but also just because they're very, very important. So you can read that at your leisure. But again, this is what we do, right? So again, my name is Matt Hensley. I'm the head of trading education at Teresias Trading. So let's get to the 3. So guys, the first one, number 1, not using multiple time frames for macro analysis. Now, I'm going to take this. I want to take this down just so I can see the chat. I'm only working with 2 screens down here in my studio, so I have to minimize this to here. Let me just put that up there so you guys can see that. Those are old notes from another presentation, so we don't need those. Okay, I would like everyone to tell me what time frame you trade on. If you want to put the symbol that you typically do, like say I trade 15 minutes on the ES or 10 minutes on the CL, but just the time frames that you put. I appreciate you guys just kind of letting me know in general what you use your primary one, right? While you're doing that, because I know we're on a little bit of a delay here. I think we're about I use 1 minute. Wow, you guys are brave. Okay, 5 minutes, 1 hour. I'm seeing a lot here. Okay, so my primary time frame, guys, is, boy, you guys trading the NQ on 1 minute. You are brave souls. You are brave souls. You are either much smarter than me or much dumber. Maybe both, right? Because that's. Eesh. Okay, some people just trade off the dome. I've never been able to do that. I've asked dome traders to just explain it to me sometime, and again, they're either much smarter or slightly less smart than me. But regardless of that, yeah, 30-second on the NQ, man, get the heck out of here. That's something. Okay. Wow. Well, here I thought I was coming in with some wisdom, right? You guys are using 3 or 4 or 5 30-second NQ. You guys are insane. I mean, listen, if you're let me ask a question, and knowing that has anyone been trading on a 1 minute NQ for longer than a year and you're net profitable? That's the key question we got to ask here. Like, you've been doing it a lot, either funded account or your own money for over a year. Okay, I know, yeah, some market profile traders, some TPO traders, I would imagine. I'm going to get to that in a little bit. So one of the first things I do, guys, I'm going to give you a little insight into my morning routine. Anna Coolin used 15 seconds. Well, she's brave then. Okay, well, a tick chart on the NQ. Are you trying to, like, set your house on fire? Like, I think if I tried to do that on my laptop, the thing would, like, lift off my desk. Okay. Anyway, so I am on Central Time, right? So that means at 8:30 the market's open here. I usually wake up. Actually, I've been fortunate. I've been so into my routine for so long, I really don't need to use an alarm anymore. But I always wake up between 6:45 and 7, take about 10 minutes, take the dog out, grab a cup of coffee. One of the first things I do when I sit down is I will pull up because it's their futures. They trade all night, right? We want to see key areas. I will pull up a 1-hour chart and a 4-hour chart on the ES and the NQ. And I meant to take a picture of it. I completely forgot. I have a little one of those like dry erase board pencil holders, like pen holders, pencils, it's, Post-its and all that kind of stuff. And I write down key areas, right? I'll write down, 15,000 was when I wrote down this morning, right? We'd clearly seen a lot of action there, a lot of activity there. And just the fact that we're in it, I don't care if it's been acting as support or resistance, just the fact that we're in proximity of it, I want to always be aware of where it is, which is why, usually I'll put that line on my chart in almost any situation that I do, right? So I will always look at a 1-hour and a 4-hour. I think doing much more than that in futures, it can get, because like in stocks, I used to look at daily, hourly, 5-minute. Okay, that was it. That was all that I looked at. In futures, it's 4-hour, 1-hour, 5-minute. Okay, you can use too much, right? If you're looking at, honestly, guys, a daily chart or a 4-hour chart in the futures, and then you go down to 15 seconds or 30 seconds, okay. I mean, again, yeah, y'all are nuts. Y'all are a little crazy. I mean, I kind of dig that. Don't. I'm not insulting you, but that's something, right? I've yet to, of all the I don't like to use the term professional traders because it really doesn't mean anything. There's no qualifications for it. Anybody can say they're a professional trader. But I'll be honest, guys, and let me just say this. Okay, if you're having success with what you're doing, meaning you're able to get those, again, whether you're in a funded account or you're trading your personal brokerage account, if you are consistently generating at least $50,000 to $75,000 per year, hopefully much more, or working towards much more, just stick with what you're doing, right? And if that's on a 1-minute chart or a tick chart, okay. But I will tell you this: I'm not disputing anything anybody says. However, of all the travels that I've done, especially pre-COVID, going to all these conferences, talking to all these people, I've yet to meet a successful NQ trader that works on less than 1 minute. I'm not saying they're not out there. You just brought up Anna's name. So I'm not saying they're not out there. I'm just saying they're rare. Okay? So, yeah, take that as it is. If you want to send me an angry private message in Discord, you're more than welcome to. It wouldn't be the first one I got. Well, let me just respond to a comment here. So you said Seth says he's content with $400 a day for now. That's great. And honestly, if you find a strategy, guys, that, let's say with 10 micros or less, okay, let's just use 5 micros, okay? Everyone is so obsessed with size going into, I got to get the biggest eval account, I got to trade 5 minis, or else what's the point? If I'm not making $3,000 a day, what's the damn point, right? That's always what I hear. And on one level, you're right. But on the very premise of what you're saying is a complete misunderstanding of what happens with the markets and how you make money in the markets, right? Find just a couple strategies. Really, guys, if you can find one strategy that using 5 micros makes you $200 a day, that's all you need. Well, Matt, I want to make more than 10. That's $1,000 a week. That's barely more than I'm making at my job now. Hold on, let me finish. Again, if you can do this over many months and average $200 a day, I'm not saying you make $200 every day, but let's say you make $350 one day, you break even one day, but you average over the course of a month $200 a day. There's only one step left, guys. Scale. Everybody wants to start. I realize I'm going on a huge rant. It has nothing to do with the topic, but that's okay. Everyone wants to start with these ginormous position sizes when they have no track record of being successful in any part of trading. They assume, well, I'm not being successful with 10 micros. I need 5 minis. No. In fact, guys, the little course I'm going to be talking about in a few minutes, guys, is the 25 rules of day trading. And I'm going to spoil one of them for you right now. Okay, I think it's number 8 or 9. They're not in a particular order. But earn the right to trade bigger size. If you can't make money with 5 micros, you're not going to be able to make it with 5 minis. I got news for you. Not going to happen. Okay, and for everybody who wants to say, I realize I'll have 100 people that are tell me I'm wrong. Well, guess what? I've seen the stats. Okay, I have some friends that have access to like a lot of data, right? And I worked for a major brokerage for about 3 years, and they gave me, they didn't give me, customer access, but they get any stats that I wanted on traders that do this or that, they would give them to me. Okay, so anybody who says that scaling is the only, or starting at 5 minis or 10 minis or anything like that is what you need to do, I can tell you, I've seen the data that shows 99% of that is wrong. Maybe there's a unicorn out there, but again, yeah, all you need, guys, and that's what I did in my futures career. So I'm quickly approaching, guys, in about 2 weeks, I'll be my 10-year anniversary as a trader. I'll have a drink on the beach. But I was just about a year before I was full-time. So I've been full-time since 2014. And I was a small cap stock trader. I got sucked into that world. Stay away from that, believe me. Then I moved into large cap options and stocks, and I did very, very well there for several years. That's when I was working for TradeStation and doing their education stuff. Really enjoyed that time. They decided to go in a different direction, so I started my own thing. While I was there, I met a couple futures traders. I saw how much futures traders was exploding. I was good at my trading. I said I want to do that. It took me about a year to get really good at it. So here's somebody who had been successful for about 5 years prior to starting trading futures. It still took, I'm not saying I wasn't making money pretty quickly, but to where like I could make a living off this, it took me a good year. Okay, so all you that are belly aching after 6 months, this may not be an education or educator's thing to say, but I'm not trying to hear your belly aching after 6 months. But no, I can help you, right? No, but in all seriousness, we're so eager to get into this and do this, and we rush into this. And I've talked to people, guys, that have gone through 100 evals and blown them all, haven't passed a single one. Or the worst case scenario, right? You pass it and then you blow out the funded account. All you need to do, guys, find one or two. I basically only have 5 setups, major setups that I trade. Now, some of those have a long setup and a short setup, so it's probably about 9. But regardless, guys, find those setups, just a couple. Just look for two very specific setups. Maybe they only fire off once or twice a day a piece, so you get 3 or 4 trades out of it. Okay, make money consistently and scale. That's it. That's this. There's no secret. Find a strategy, scale it. End of discussion. End of story. Okay. Yeah, you can't. Well. Listen, I've met some traders that can listen. This is the ultimate binary. You're either a profitable trader or you're not, guys. I got into this yesterday, talking during the event we had yesterday. Now, the worst trader in the world can make money on a given trade or a day or even a week, right? But month over month, year over year, you're either profitable or you're not. You can fake it for a little while. Okay, you can get those big paper profits and pat yourself on the back and pretend that you'll eventually get there in real. Right? But at the end of the day, you're either making money or you're not. You're either passing evals, getting into funded, and making withdrawals, or you're not. It's a binary. There's no in between of that. Okay? But, like I said, with timetables, just be easy on yourself. If you're 3 months into your trading career and you're struggling, you know what that makes you? Almost every other trader that has ever lived. The difference, guys, you hear the numbers of people that fail out of this, and they're probably very close to being accurate. But it's not because they completely fail out of it, right? It's because they just give up, right? It's frustrating. It's hard, guys. I'm not an old guy. I'm not a young guy. I'm in my early 40s. I've done quite a bit in my life. I've had a couple of different careers. I've had a lot of success across a lot of different things. I've never done anything as difficult as learning how to trade profitably. Okay, and most of the people that and most very successful traders are a lot smarter than I am, with a lot more success under the belt, and most of them will tell you the exact same thing. Okay? All right, so let me get back to the slides. This is why I like these longer form things. I got all the time in the world. Okay, so the number 2 mistake that inexperienced chart readers, trading every signal you see. Now, so I am a Steve Neeson disciple, as I like to say. Steve Neeson is a gentleman who sort of the candlesticks, as you see on your chart, right? That type of charting has existed in the Far East for hundreds of years, right? They would trade the rice markets and all of that for, we think our markets are old. The Britain Standard Money, the Chinese, Japanese, the Asian cultures have been doing this kind of trading for hundreds of years, right? Because we have records of it. And they were big on candlestick charts. And so Steve Neeson, it wasn't just him, there was a couple others at the time, went over I want to say it was the 70s or 80s, and learned this charting technique, right? It had trickled over here a little bit, but obviously this was pre-internet, or at least widely available internet, and so ideas didn't travel as fast as they do now. And so he came back over and not only taught people these candlesticks, but integrated them with Western indicators, right? So things like moving average, MACD, RSI, or VWAP, all that kind of stuff, right? And so it was sort of this big breakthrough, especially in the retail trading space, of using these candlesticks in conjunction with typical Western indicators. And he has, guys, if you can, most of his stuff is out of print. You go to eBay, Steve Nison, or Nison, anything you can get your hands on of his. His book is called The Candlestick Course, his very basic one. He's also got videos all over the place. He's probably got some stuff on YouTube. I haven't looked for a while. I bought all his videos years ago secondhand, and I watch them probably every 18 months or so. And he's got dozens of hours of stuff. Just fantastic stuff. Absolutely fantastic stuff. But one of the things he'll tell you is that one of the biggest mistakes anybody can make on any chart, I don't care if you're working on a candlestick chart, line chart, bar chart, point and figure chart, Renko chart, TPO chart, whatever the case may be, trading every single signal that you see is a way to, quite frankly, overtrade, right? You're going to get into these situations where you again, unless a setup is specifically only designed to trigger 2 to 3 times a day. If I look at, I have my candlestick stuff marked, right? See, this is a little indicator on TradingView. If I traded every one of these signals, right, I'd be making a ton of trades, and I'd be stopping out. Some of these trades would be profitable, some wouldn't, but I'd be stopping out of a lot of trades, and also I'd be racking up a hell of a commissions bill, even if I'm only trading a couple of micros, right? So you see all these candle signals, and this isn't even all of them, right? I mean, if you tried to trade every signal here, look, bearish signal, bullish signal, bearish signal, bullish signal, bearish signal, bullish signal, right? Look at all this. So if you tried to trade every one of those, you'd be pulling your head out at the end, or your hair out, or at least some of us with more than others, when the whole thing is done, right? So for me, and this is one of the things that Steve talks about, there's kind of 2 ways around this. First of all, you should also be using signals on a chart to help to determine your exits, right? So for example, let's say you had been long into this after this area, right? Let's just, for whatever reason, I don't want to say this or that, but you were long heading into, you got in down here, right? Maybe a break of the 1 standard deviation, okay? And you start seeing this, and let's say you were playing for a move through VWAP, right? And you start seeing all these, boy, if you were long coming into this and you didn't get out here, like, I don't even know what to tell you, right? Like, how much more evidence that you need that the market is topping out, right? And some of us will sit there and say, well, the 3rd candle's going to break out. Nope, the 4th candle. Nah, the 6th candle. No, the 8th candle. The more it knocks on the door and doesn't kick it in, the more likely we're going to have to retrace before making another run, which, of course, at least in this session, we didn't do. Okay, so especially if you're new, if you're inexperienced, I don't care what type of chart you're using, most likely it's going to give out a pretty significant number of settings or number of signals, and you don't want to take either one. And you also don't want to use signals only for entries. Chasing them candlesticks, Frederick. Yeah, I used to do that quite a bit. I am a recovering chaser, right? I should have FOMO tattooed on my head if I kept it up much longer. But thankfully, I'm recovering of this, and that's something I had. Again, knowing yourself as a trader, guys, and you only do this if you keep a journal and you begin to, like, when do you feel that anxiety creep in, or the greed, right? I say this almost every event that I've done ever. Right, and so I'm going to say it again. The biggest thing you can do for yourself. Here we go. So this is my trading desk down here. It's my studio. Have a pen and a pad of paper right next to your mouse. Okay, because there's going to be things that jump into your head, or if you notice yourself. Okay, I can get rid of those. If you notice yourself, again, the anxiety's creeping in. You feel yourself, making an emotional trade, right, or making an emotional decision. Write down what's going on. Write down how you're feeling. What hey, one of the things for chasers, guys, for those that suffer from FOMO, which is fear of missing out, for those that are new, here's a quick hack. This won't solve the problem overnight, but this will help, and it did help me. Get a Post-it, write the phrase, "There will always be another trade," on that post-it sticking on the bottom of your monitor. And every time you're about to FOMO into a trade, look at it, right? Because even if you're like me and you don't make a ton of trades, like I make on average, well, it's actually been closer to 2 to 4 per day over the last month or so, but I'm about 3 to 5 per day, maybe a little more traditionally, right? And so if I find myself missing a trade or wanting to FOMO into a trade, my original post-it fell off years ago. I don't even know where it is, probably threw it out, but there will always be another trade. Say it out loud, okay? And again, that's just a little bit of a mental hack. Most getting over most mental trading problems, trading psychology problems are not usually that easy, but it is something that can help, right? Okay, so yeah, as Josh just put in there, guys, in just a couple of minutes, the link will be posted for the raffle. So we're giving away 2 things at the raffle today. We're giving away a $50,000 Blue Sky evaluation, right? And number 2, I'm giving away one of my micro courses today, which I'm going to talk about that micro course in about 5 minutes. First of all, I want to get to number 3. Not learning multiple chart types, right? So what do I mean by this? Well, actually, the very first charts I studied, guys, were simply bar charts, right? With the little notch on the left for the open, little notch on the right for the close. There's basic line charts, which are just that, one big uninterrupted line. There's candlesticks. Obviously, you guys know Renko. I learned Renko a little bit before I came in here. I know Mike trades on the Renko. A lot of you have used point and figure charts, TPO charts, the various price action with all the letters. I recommend, if you only use one type of charting, to learn another one. If you only use Renkos, I recommend learning candlesticks. If you only use candlesticks, I recommend learning Renkos. Those are good ways to start, right? Because they're 2 very different types of charts, right? One is price-based, one is time-based. So they can really help you kind of see the big picture. And then you can get into market profile, TPO type stuff. But never stop learning in this game, guys. And maybe that's part of the overarching theme of this as well. I'm still, guys, I'm 10 years into this. I do very well. And, I've traveled all over the world, or all over the country at least. No, I did a Canadian event, so technically all over the world, trading and doing all these different learning events, guys, right? And I never want to stop learning. There's a gentleman I worked with for a couple of years, one of the nicest guys in the world. He works for a rival company, so I'm not going to say his name, but still a nice guy. We still talk all the time. But this guy is in his 60s, runs a business full-time, although he's about to sell it, and still signs up for at least 2 or 3 webinars every week, right? Just a free webinar. It's not like he's buying a lot of courses or anything, but he just wants to learn. If there's a topic that he really wants to learn about, he'll learn it, right? Because that's just who he is. So again, if you're only working off of one chart type, start learning another one, right? Just again, I'm not gonna vouch for the veracity of any other educator out there or anything like that, but just go into YouTube and type in candlestick charts, or look at some basic, again, Steve Neeson, you can't go wrong with him. I don't know any authorities off the top of my head that I can personally vouch for in other areas, but that's just something that's really, really, really important, right? Okay, guys, so while we're getting everything set up here, one of the things that's been really cool, like I said, guys, is over the past few months is having a lot of conversations as I had with Josh, right? Because Josh talks to a lot of you guys. He sees, how what are some of the themes of traders that are doing well and moving into funded and staying in funded accounts, or consistently failing. And guys, you know what it makes you if you failed 3, 4, 5, or 6 evals? A trader. Now, if you're failing 20 evals, 30 evals, if you're on reset number 50 something, the only question I would ask you is, let's say you're about to reset for the 20th time. What are you going to do differently in number 21 that you didn't do the previous 20 times? If you don't change anything, it's a very definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing and expecting a different result. Okay, that's not how you do it. If you fail out 5 times, especially 5 times maybe within a couple of months, it's time to step back and just reassess what you're doing. I'm not saying quit permanently. I'm not even saying, but at least give yourself a week to kind of step back, assess your performance, see what the issue is, maybe reach out to somebody like myself for education, and go from there. But one of the things that in talking with Josh, and we've been saying, how do we educate this new breed of traders, right, that are coming in over, so many people have come in since the pandemic. It used to be if 5 years ago any of you had come to me and said, I want to learn how to successfully trade options, okay, I'm going to follow the same path to teach you how to be successful in options that I would. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a doctor, lawyer, construction worker, postal worker, student, retiree. I don't care. It's the same basic path. You got to learn the same 3 or 4 things. Then we can get into strategies, and you can kind of pick your risk assessment, and we can go from there, right? But it's basically the same path with only a couple of small deviations at the end. Futures is completely unlike that, right? You guys are coming in from all sorts of different walks of life, all sorts of different income levels, and there's no barrier to entry, guys. The barrier to entry used to be, especially if you wanted to trade options for a living, you probably needed, I would tell people you need at least 50K in your account. If you wanted to day trade stocks, if you want to day trade stocks, you need to have at least 25K in your account to be a pattern day trader. Now, guys, if you catch blue sky on a sale for 60, 70 bucks, you can have access to a demo account and all the data that you need, which can eventually be built into a funded account, right? That's almost no barriers to entry. When I first set up my Rhythmic feed, guys, and my brokerage account, I had to sign up. It took like 3 days. I had to sign all these forms. It was ridiculous, right? Now it's you need a credit card, $100 in about 10 minutes, right? So there's no barriers to entry. So for me to continue to do the same old things that I've done education-wise is a disservice to you guys, right? Traditionally, I've done the same education everyone else does, right? I put together, 10-hour-long courses, sell them for a high-ticket price. I run a live trading room, all that kind of stuff, and it's just that type of stuff just isn't valid anymore. Why are you going to pay for a 10-hour course when you maybe only need 1 hour of the material? Okay, so in the spirit of the CME, which just a few years, you guys hear about these micros. These things are brand new, guys. The micros have only been around a few years. Hell, the minis have only been around for a little while. You want to talk about barriers to entry? Go try to trade a full contract of something, right? And the millions of dollars of equity you need just to trade one. Okay, so I came up with the idea of micro courses. Okay, so what are micro courses, guys? 4 specific things relevant to retail traders. Okay, focused on one specific topic, 90 minutes or less. In some cases, as short. I've been mapping some of these out. Some are half hour, guys. The one I'm about to tell you about is just under 90 minutes, and they're low cost. Most importantly, right? If you're coming in, sweating your monthly fee, you're not gonna, you're not interested in a $1,200 course, correct? Okay, and the days of those are fading anyway. And that was something I hated when I was learning. I bought a few courses, guys, over the years that were, 4 figures or more. Okay, most of them I don't regret. A couple I do, but so that's the kind of the key of kind of what I think is the future of the education game, guys. And so today, as of right now, I'm opening enrollment for my first ever micro course, guys. The 25 rules of day trading. Okay, the videos are on demand. You're gonna have lifetime access, and I've included an old course of mine that I used to sell for $200 a pop, guys. Okay, trading as a business. Teach you how to put together a business plan as a trader, a SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, all of this stuff. Okay, and guys, best of all, it's $29. Okay. I honestly, I could not in good conscience sell it for any less than that. And I up until about an hour ago, guys, this was going to be $50. And I said, you know what? It's the first one. Especially because how big the Blue Sky family is growing here. A lot of people aren't familiar with you. Honestly, you can't go wrong with this, guys. I read these rules to myself every morning. In fact, that's the very first thing in these videos, spoiler, that I do. I tell you, I want you to write down each one of these. Most are only 7 or 8 words long. I want you to then go type them out, and I want you to read them every single day before the markets open. Okay? Again, I already spoiled one for you. Earn the right to trade bigger. And I don't just read these, guys. We spend about 2 or 3 minutes talking of each one because the videos are almost 90 minutes. I'm going to put the sign-up link for this, guys, in the Blue Sky Discord. Okay? So let me go get that right now. Don't forget to sign up for the giveaway. I'm going to give away one of these in just a minute. Okay. All right, so in the futures chat area, guys, is the link to sign up. So I am putting that right there. Oh my goodness, Josh just messaged me. So, guys, I have the pleasure of announcing something right now, and I thank Josh for this pleasure. So, you guys are thinking right now, boy, you know, the $30 for a course, that's amazing. That's great. I'm in. But, you know, I really want to get an eval too. And Josh has just informed me that there is right now, as of now, a 50% off flash sale, any evaluation size. There is only 50 available, 50 coupon codes available. All right. So if you want to get the, for less than $150, guys, you can get a 50K eval. If you don't win the raffles today, you can get a 50K eval and my 25 rules of day trading for $130, guys. That's fantastic. Actually, less than $130. So for less than a cost of, you know, wow, that's awesome, man. That is awesome. So congratulations to all of you who are in there. You need to use code FLASH50 to get that eval, any evaluation size. That is awesome. So how do we enter for the course giveaway? Sign up for the link. The link right up here, guys. Click right there, and you will sign up. You just need to sign up once for the 50K giveaway and for the course. So, guys, the signups for that end in 5 minutes. The course will be on my Discord. Yes, I will be putting. I'm sending out all my announcement emails and stuff tonight and tomorrow morning. Just started first eval today. We'll go get another one. Honestly, guys, I know people have a ton of accounts, some especially with like cheap ones with other companies. I wouldn't go more than about 2 or 3 and maybe do different strategies in each one. Nothing wrong with having a couple of evals. Now, you can only have, if I recall, 2 brokerage funded accounts with Blue Sky. So just keep that in mind, you know, if you're trying to trade 5 or 6 evals. But 5 minutes left, guys. At 3, well, actually 4. At 4:45, we are going to spin the wheel o' names. All right, guys, so I want to open it up to questions now. So any questions you have on anything we covered or the micro course, right? I'm going to go ahead and... Here, we're going to put this up here so you guys can see it. So any questions? I know we're a little behind here, so... Yeah, kudos to Josh and the team at Blue Sky for putting that out there on an event like today. Jim Rayman says doesn't enter me. Jim, I'm going to personally put you on the wheel of names right now, so you were entered. Okay. So Jim, you are in, my friend. The raffle for the 50K link is at the top here, guys. Look at the screen. It's right up here on the chat. Click that. Sign up. The 25 rules of day trading is all about futures, Dragon. Is it exclusively? It's one time. It's a on-demand course, guys. There's no monthly fee. It's one time. Mr. Josh. Mr. Josh was a comic book hero, I believe, at one point. The course, so guys, go into the Discord and the futures chat. Here, let me get that off the screen so I put the link right here. I will post it again later tonight. It's also in my Discord. Josh does have superpowers. Oh, no, I'm not supposed to tell anyone. I'm sorry. I blew his cover there. We call Josh Florida Man. All that crazy stuff you read about Florida Man in the papers, all of it is actually Josh. Blew my cover. Oh, boo. Boo. That is horrible. I love puns, though. That's good. No, I'm actually excited about that. All right, guys, you have 2 minutes left to sign up. 2-minute warning. Jim, I put you on the wheel. Jim Rainman, you are on the wheel of names. You are the only name on there right now. See? You are there. If we spun it right now, you'd win both. But we're not going to spin it right now. So, you know, Josh, yeah, you've got the dad humor, but my guess is you were cracking dad jokes at like 14. Need that account? No, you don't. You need to learn how to trade if you don't already, and then you're fine. Guys, I hate when, like, if you want to be successful in trading and you're willing to work for it, I believe you'll be successful in trading. Those that need it, guys, honestly, if you know, I said this last night, I'm going to say it again, and I've heard the stories, right? And I know Josh has as well, is that, you know, if you're like, if the difference between like putting food on the table or making rent is trying to get a funded account and making a withdrawal within a month or two, please go find another way to make that money legally, right? Because don't put that kind of pressure on yourself, right? I've been there. I quit I had a couple of jobs and I quit them both to trade full time, and I sat there a year later like wondering if it was the biggest mistake of my life, right? I haven't done that webinar in a while. I'm going to do that when I get back from my vacation. As of noon tomorrow, guys, I'm on vacation for 3 weeks, heading to the beach. I'm very excited about that. When I get back, I will do that webinar in my room where I just tell my story, and it takes about 90 minutes, but it's a good one. Wow, a couple people have bought the course already. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. I was expecting a bunch of people to jump on it once we're done, but for those of you that are already in, I appreciate it. That's great. Yeah, no, that's fine. You're just trying to speak it into existence, right? There's nothing wrong with that. I was just ragging you a little bit. All right, guys. So Josh will be sending over the names momentarily. Signups are now closed. And then we're going to spin the wheel o' names. Again, guys, I am Trader Matt in the Discord. I'm the lone name under the Trading Coaches section. Feel free to direct message me if you have any questions about the course. Honestly, guys, listen, most of you have heard me talk about some of my other products, right? And I understand, like, you know, a $1,000 mentorship program is not for everybody. A $500 10-hour course is not for everybody. I'm you know, you guys know I don't come in here and BS, right? That's not who I am. I failed all my sales courses, right? But for $30, if one of these rules, one of the 25, keeps you from taking one trade that loses you $100, it's paid for itself. Or helps you get into one trade that makes you $100 or even $50, it's paid for itself, right? So I've got more of these coming. I've got one I'm going to release next week, and then I'm going to, I haven't decided which one, and then I'm going to film a bunch more when I get back. But I'm going to do about 10 or 12 of these between now and the end of calendar 2023. But again, it's just about picking and choosing. Now, this is the one that's going to be universal. I will be very upfront on the other ones as to who it's for and who probably won't benefit from them. But in this situation, honestly, if you're a futures day trader, I don't care if you've been doing it for a month or 10 years. I don't care if you lose money every day or you make $5K a day. I believe this will help you. Okay. Brief overview of what this course entails. 1 minute, and then we got to spin the thing. So this is the 25 rules of day trading. These are this exact series of rules have been passed around for quite some time, but they've kind of now there's like 8 versions of them. But I specifically have taken them and distilled them down into futures day trading, right? And because I think the guy who originally wrote these, I think it was Doug Zielinski, and he talked about bond trading and all that kind of stuff. And that's, most of us don't like pit bond trading, right? We're not talking about the bond trading we do in our accounts. But yeah, and so he wrote some of these. Some of them came from, I don't know where all the original ones came for, but every single day, guys, I have a handwritten list of these. And I sit down and I read them before the market's, while I'm drinking usually my second cup of coffee. About 10 minutes before the market opens, I read these, okay? And I refer back to them throughout the day. Okay, guys, we got to spin the wheel here because I am running a little behind. Wow, look at all these names. Okay. Okay, why is my copy paste not working? All right, let's try it here. Control C. Let's do this the old-fashioned way. So Jim, as you see, you're there. Control V. There we go. Wow, a lot of people showed out. Appreciate the attendance, guys. That's great. Okay, so we're going to spin this wheel 2 times. Oh, yeah, I gave the link for it in the... If you just go to my site, I haven't posted it in the store yet because I just loaded this up today. I just recorded these over the past week, guys. So go to the Blue Sky Discord in the futures chat, and it's right there. Okay. All right. So guys, we are spinning the wheel twice. The first spin is for the 50K evaluation account with Blue Sky Trading. Okay. So let us spin the wheel of names. Thin side, excuse me, thin side, you have won. So this is for the 50K evaluation account. Josh will be reaching out to you momentarily. Okay, now the next one is for one of my 25 rules of day trading course. Let's spin that wheel. RW no. So that is the winner of the course. Josh will get me your email address, and I will reach out via email within 24 hours. So as soon as he gets that to me, I will reach out and give you a code to get that for free. Okay? All right, guys. So I just want to give a plug one more time for the course. I will take 2 more questions, and we will go from there. So again, this is a micro course, guys. The runtime on this course, then this is going to be one of the longer ones. It's just under 90 minutes, okay? And this is the... Oh, I'm sorry, Tiana. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah, those names were small. We had so many people sign up, and that was a pretty high. That's a high resolution monitor I use that, and I couldn't read them until the winner came up. So yeah, okay. So I do want to point out, Josh has put in there, guys. This is only announced in this YouTube channel, and there's only 50 codes, flash 50. So go on the site and use it right now. It only uses 50 times. So go do that right now, and when that's done, go into the Discord, follow the link to this course, and watch these videos tonight, and you'll be ready tomorrow. Again, they're only about 90 minutes. How do you let go of failure so you can move forward? That takes some time, Dragon Kell. Last trade, next trade. That's it. I'll worry about my trades at the end of the day. I just try to be as emotionless and machine-like as possible, right? Here's a trade setup. This is valid. I take the trade. I manage the trade. I'll worry about, all of that later. There are times I don't even know my P&L till the end of the day. Now, yes, you have an idea. If you got 3 good trades and they hit max profit, you're going to see a nice big number on the P&L at the end of the day. But I don't sweat my P&L during the day, guys. Unless I hit like 3 or 4 bad trades in a row, and then I'm that thankfully it doesn't happen to me very often, but maybe 7 or 8 times a year something like that'll happen, and I'll step away for a little while. Yeah, you absolutely do, Seth. Sometimes you do need to take a break if you're hitting your head against the wall. All right, guys, one more question. So here's what the page will look like when you come over here, guys. So again, I'm going to put this in my Discord, and it's already in the Blue Sky Discord. Okay. The rules-based courses will come later. I will do just one setup per course for that stuff, just to keep them But this is, again, this is just, again, whatever you do, I feel very confident this will help you. Plus, again, guys, this is a key thing. I decided to throw this in last minute. I have a full-length course. It's about, I want to say about 3 hours. Trading as a business. How do you set up your trading business? Now, this isn't like tax stuff or anything like that. I'm not an accountant. But this is, how do you put together a business plan for your trading? If you don't have a business plan for your trading, guys, what are you even doing? How do you know what your costs and expenses are going to be, right? That's, are you going to budget out 2 months of an eval and 3 resets? I always recommend that, at least 2 months and 3 resets. So like for your Flash 50 today, you get 50% off. That basically, you can look at that as 50% off, or you can look at it as 2 for 1, right? And instead of paying full price for 1 month, you pay half price for 2 months, and you got 60 days to get to your goal then. It's about 40 some trading days, right? First time you've won anything, Thin Side will make the best of it, my friend. Yes, I'm going to build much more content on this, guys. The strategy courses will be, they're not going to be like $100, but they're going to be a few bucks more than this, because, that's a lot of people really want those. But honestly, guys, I can give you all the strategies in the world. If you don't know these rules and follow these rules in some form, it's not going to matter. And everyone thinks, guys, everyone comes into this thinking, I just need that 1 or 2. I told you just find 1 or 2 strategies, right? But that's not all you need, right? I was just like all you guys. Anyone who's struggling, I don't care how much you're struggling. I don't care how frustrated you are. I've been there. Guys, I will do that webinar when I get home and tell you about my first year of trading and all the ins and outs, and, well, not a lot of ins, a lot of outs. I lost 40K of my own money. I was literally on my bed breaking down crying one day, wondering if I was, did I just make the biggest mistake of my life and set myself financially back 10 years? And I decided to keep plugging through, and I'm actually, some of these rules and the things I talk about in there are from that, right? But I got there. And guys, I'm no dummy, but like I said, I'm rarely the smartest guy in any room that I walk into. So I don't say this to diminish myself in any way, but to lift you guys up. If I can do it, you can do it. I firmly believe that. I firmly believe that. Yes. So don't hope about trades. Hopium is a dangerous drug. That's actually one of the rules. But it's okay to feel optimistic, feel some hope at the end of the day. You're going to stay in the game. There's 2 steps to becoming a successful trader, guys. Don't blow up your account and keep learning. And hey, if you blow up an eval, it's a reset. Honestly, guys, if this saves you 1 reset, it's paid for itself, right? Holy crap, you guys my phone's just buzzing like crazy from the people, but I appreciate that, guys. That's great. I'm very optimistic this will help you. All right, so to the winners, you will, Josh and or I will be reaching out to you in the next 24 hours. So we will get that all set up. Again, one last plug, guys, 50% off. Only 50 codes. Flash 50 is the code, and that'll get you 50% off an account. All right, guys. So go get yourself a 50% off account. That's step 1. Step 2, go get yourself the 25 rules of day trading. Okay? Get those 2. And guys, I mean, that's going to be, if you just get the 25K, which is a good place to start, guys. If money's a little tight, you don't need 100K, you don't need the 50K, get the 25. You can get that and this for, gosh, I don't know what 50% off the 25K is, but you're looking at like $100, 110, $115. That used to be $100 used to be about the one side commissions for any stock trades back about 25, 30 years ago. Okay, so for under $100, you can get both these guys. All right, my friends, I appreciate it. So guys, I'm going to be putting together a little content in the next couple of weeks about trading on the road, because I'm going to be on the road. I leave on Saturday, and I'm gone for 3 weeks. I won't be back till the middle of October. So there won't be any of these events for a couple of weeks, okay, at least for me. But I will have some videos both on my YouTube page and the Blue Sky web YouTube page about traveling on the road, because a lot of us like to travel, or we have to travel for work and all that. So what are some of the things we can do on the road to keep trading, but also understand our limitations trying to trade on like hotel Wi-Fi or things like that, right? So I'm going to be doing a few vignettes on that over the course of the next 3 weeks or so. So stay tuned for that. I'm also going to put, guys, an invite link to my Discord in the Blue Sky Discord. Mine is not, I don't run mine the same way. So during the day, you absolutely should still be in the Blue Sky Discord, seeing the chat there. I just do use my Discord to communicate with my mentorship clients, and also just to announce events like this. In fact, my main page is just announcements of events like this from the last few weeks. So, all right, guys. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you for joining us. Congratulations to the winners. Go get your 50% off account right now as soon as this is done, and then go grab this course. All the links that you need are right there in the Blue Sky Discord in the Futures Chat channel. Have a great rest of your day, guys, and I will see you in a couple of weeks.